Welcome back into the Core Report, guys. It's time to get into the nitty-gritty of talking about the Trailblazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're also going to do a little bit of rapid fire with you guys for your questions, so put those in the chat and we'll get through as many as we can here as we break down this game. But before that, I want to remind you that for those of you that might not be watching the game on Friday, which you're crazy if you don't, because you might be going to this awesome concert for the Black Keys. That is happening this Friday. They are back. Don't miss out on this amazing show. It's coming up quick this Friday, October 31st, aka Halloween, at the Moda Center, featuring music from their highly anticipated album, Turn Blue. To purchase tickets, you can visit rosequarter.com now. Both good options for a Friday night on Halloween. Both
Plenty
good
to
options.
do.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be watching the Blazer game. That's just me, but both good options. This would definitely be a show that I would be going to if there was not a game. Okay, let's take a look at the poll question here that we talked about before, you guys. What's the most intriguing matchup? Obviously, 77% of you guys think Dame versus Russell Westbrook for obvious reasons. As we talk about the injury report for the Thunder, let's go through this list. Kevin Durant out with a right foot Jones fracture. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Reggie Jackson out with a right ankle sprain. Mitch McGary out, left foot fracture. Anthony Morrow, another one of their good backups, out with a left MCL sprain. Jeremy Lamb also out with a lower back strain, and Grant Jarrett out with an ankle surgery.
Wow.
Holy moly. I can't help but feel bad for these guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough, but it also makes it kind of crazy for the Trailblazers, because if you think about it, what is Russell Westbrook going to do tonight? He's just going to try to go bananas, right? I mean, what other option does he have? So maybe you can tell us, with your playing experience, we're going to have the energy of opening night, the buzz, the craziness, the importance of the game, knowing you have to go out and get this. But how do you prepare for a team that looks nothing like a team that you would prepare for?
Well, you have to forget about who's not playing. I mean, the reality of it is you step out on the court and you forget about who's not going to be there and you do your thing. You go out there and you play your game, you focus on your goals, you focus on what you've set out as your keys to the game, and you forget about who's not out there and you treat them as if they're going to be playing anyway. So you just have to stay focused. You have to forget about all the other things that could be distractions and play your game.
Yeah, and really, I like that you say that, because offensively it's not going to change, I don't think, much of what the Trailblazers' plan is. It's just defense. And what's nice is, and what I think might be a perk, and you guys let me know what you think about this too, it might be a perk for the defense of the Trailblazers, knowing that they aren't going to have, like, they're not going to be trending towards the specific tendencies of players that they know and have played against a lot. So therefore they can focus on the kind of team defense that they've been working on so much in training camp. So that's one of the things that really just kind of popped into my head first as one of the things that could be a benefit for the guys, which who knows? We'll see how that goes. Let's also talk about kind of some of the opportunities that the Trailblazers will have. Of course, another challenge and opportunity. Tonight is one of those nights where the challenges and the opportunities are one and the same. The opening night buzz. Always so exciting, but can be one of those things that just comes and kind of bites you. You know, because you have the energy of the building. You're playing against kind of an unknown team. I mean, the energy of the building is enough, but you're getting the campaign going. Tell me about a time that you've had when you've been going into a season with these kind of expectations. Because it's been a while since the Trailblazers have had expectations about how they're supposed to perform and finish during the season. Yeah, well, I can recall many different teams that I played for, because I played for quite a few, that you have different expectations. And when you get to the point where you are confident and you're expected to win and you're expected to be successful, then you go out with that aura of confidence. It's almost like a supporting argument that complements your performance, rather than it being pressure, because it can be the pressure when you're great on paper, like the team with Gerald Wallace and Jamal Crawford. That's a different kind of expectation. We're great on paper, so there's pressure to perform. This expectation is, no, we're actually really good, and we know who we are, because identity is really important. This team has identified who they are, so now you can take that and use that quotient to enhance your performance, because now you're expected to do well, but you're also expecting yourself to do well, and there isn't this big gap between those two expectations. Well, and how about the fact that the Trailblazers aren't going to surprise anybody anymore? That's one line that in every preview that you read or any prediction, it's nobody's going to be surprised by these guys anymore. They came and they made their stamp on the Western Conference last season. So, I mean, I don't feel like the guys have any kind of nervousness in that interaction with kind of carrying that burden, but it makes me wonder if do you carry it anyways?
Well,
is there any way to not carry that burden, knowing that what you did last year, going in, losing to the eventual champs?
Right.
Is there any way to not have that kind of expectation when it's something that you haven't had really in the past?
Well, you realize that, look, we're not going to surprise anyone, but we're also not going to surprise ourselves. Because I'm sure there were points in the season where you look at the schedule and you go, geez, what's that going to look like? And you come out with, some great wins that you can really put in your quiver and say, this is something we can hang our hat on. But this season, it's like, we understand who we are. We understand how talented we are. We're not going to surprise anyone. We're going into the season with the expectation that we're going to make it to the playoffs, and that, while it was first round last season, second round is the goal. So you set new expectations and you set out to achieve those, and that really sets the bar for yourself.
Love it. All right, I want to hop in here to your guys' some of your guys' opinions on tonight's keys to victory. I love this one from 247. He says the Blazers' keys to win tonight: 1, offense has got to come out hot and early. We can't allow Westbrook to think he can carry the team and have a chance at a win. I love that.
Yeah.
I really, really love that. That's so true. And to add on to that, the next comment was from Trey P, and he said that he's worried that Westbrook might get Dame in early foul trouble, and he's eager to show that he's improved, that Damian has improved his defense. What are your thoughts on that matchup specifically when it comes to exactly what they just pointed out, which brilliant point, you guys.
Such an impactful point. The reality of it is you said something, Sarah, earlier about the team working on their defense, and Coach Stotz obviously says, look, on the offensive end, that's going to take care of itself because we know who we are, but we still have room to improve on the defensive end. Here's what one of the benefits for tonight will bring with the absence of some of the other players for OKC is the fact that Russell Westbrook, we know, attacks the basket aggressively. So the reality of it is that the defense that Dame is going to be playing will enhance the rest of the team defense because they will have an opportunity to help him. I don't see him being in a situation where he's going to be forced to really foul Russell Westbrook, because this is an environment where those people, Anthony Morrow, that Jeremy Lamb, that he would be dishing the passes to actually create the driving lanes, they aren't going to be there. So now what do? You close down the middle. Guys can slide over to help. Dame doesn't need to foul. He stays in the game, and it puts a lot of pressure on Russell Westbrook.
Smart. This is why we love having Orlando, you guys. How great was that? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling a little more calmed down, Trey? I hope that you are. All right, and yeah, Trey, good point. He's like, I don't doubt about Westbrook is nearly impossible to guard one-on-one. Right. That is very, very true. Right. All right, let's go ahead and hop into some rapid fire questions too before we get to our own keys to victory. All right, I like this one. Blazers 247 says, which of our young bench, whether it's Will, CJ, T-Rob, or Myers, will get the majority of the minutes tonight? Word is that CJ and Myers have looked best in preseason. We haven't been able to see it ourselves because it hasn't been on TV. That's a good point. But does that mean that Will and T-Rob are already on the back burner? And what about Joel? Great question.
Great question.
Lots of parts to answer. So let's get to this first part. Which of our young bench, Will, CJ, T-Rob, Myers, will get the majority of minutes tonight? And there's other options on that. So I think that other people can hop in there.
Right.
What's your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad that the distinction was made for young players, because we know that there's 7 who are going to play.
Yes, we definitely know there's 7. Stotz hasn't there's been no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So that's good. So of the young players in a matchup like this, I see CJ McCollum being an impact player. I loved how Myers finished the preseason. Just really looked really good. So if there were any ambiguity there, I would say it would probably be between CJ and Myers. I hate the fact that I can't mention my main man, Will Barton, but in this particular matchup, while we might see him, the question was majority of minutes. So I got to go with CJ.
Yeah, and you've said a couple things that really are going to stand out for this question, because this question is going to be one that we're going to see through the rest of the whole season, you guys, having to do with rotations. And you said this particular matchup, that is going to be what determines who's going to be playing, you guys. If you, just plain and simple. And you can ask Stotz too. And that was one of the questions that I actually have written down for you, is that Is there a way to kind of bucket into to maybe just make it as black and white as we can as to when we're going to see guys like T-Rob and Will versus when we're going to see guys like CJ and Myers?
Right.
What do you think? Is there an easy way to break that? Is it, when we're playing these lower, faster guards, or when we're playing teams with big, dominant guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there an easy way to bucket that out? Because I don't think that we're going to be able to read 8 through 15, 8 through 12 rather, on the roster in an order. It's all going to be situational, you guys.
You raised such a valid point, because you trying to get into the mind of Coach Stotz is a challenging thing because he has such a brilliant basketball mind, and he, I think, kind of goes counterintuitive at times when it comes to selecting his players. But if you're looking at like a situation with the Golden State Warriors, and you've got a perimeter-oriented team, and you've got to have guys that are on the perimeter who are quick enough to contain and recover. You want guys with long arms, guys like a Will Barton who can kind of get in the passing lane, who can contest the shot. But you also then have to have guys like CJ who are savvy, good basketball players. Even players like a Victor Claver, who understand the game well enough to be out there and contest shots and when defenses break down. So it's going to be situational, but I think guards, bigs, teams that rebound well, teams that run the floor, those will be some of the key indicators that are going to predict who's going to play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see it all map out. I will say, though, that I have been mighty impressed by a lot of the guys and the development that we have seen during the preseason. I will be one of the first people to say that when Will Barton first started getting minutes, was it 2 seasons ago now? Whatever it was. I was like, this kid's so out of control, and it only works some of the time. No, that out of control play works every time. It works all the time.
Right.
And that's one of the things that we love about him. T-Rob really coming into his own, learning what his role is on this team, knowing when he has to come out, he has to make a specific difference. When you look at the other two, CJ, we haven't seen, CJ is that kind of cool character. He's not, it's hard to outshine a Will Barton when he's on the floor. You know what I mean? As far as expectations. So when you look at CJ, even though he has these great fundamentals and we're seeing him develop, it's just not this catapult that the People's Champ has had. So it's one of those things that, he's still great, and the organization has an immense amount of confidence in him. And then, like you said, the improvements of Myers Leonard just in the last few preseason games, there's just a new calmness about Myers, which is a really good thing to see, because it never hurts to have depth, guys. What was the biggest knock on the Trailblazers last year and the last few years? A lack of depth. And where is that depth going to be coming from this season? It's going to be coming from the development of the bench, not any kind of big changes. So love that. All right. Wow, good point. Thanks for putting that in there. Blazer247 said that it was just announced that Julius Randle is done for the season. Ouch. I knew that he had surgery after he broke his leg, but the season, man, that's tough. There must be more. I'm going to have to read up on that. Thank you. Rapid fire question here from Chris Wright. He says, Kaman and Blake are 6th and 7th man. Who are the next 3 up tonight? So we talked a little bit about kind of the expectations and who we're wanting to see. You want to put those guys in order?
Yeah, I would say it's going to be CJ McCollum. Myers Leonard, just because when you start looking at the bigs that are coming, Kendrick Perkins coming off the bench, who's kind of big and slow, I could definitely see Myers Leonard in that rotation. And then I'm going to go with Joel Freeland as my 3rd.
I was going to put Joel 2nd.
You're going to put Joel 2nd?
I'm going to put Joel. I'm going to say CJ, and I'm going to say Joel. And then I'm also going to say it's going to depend on which area the Trailblazers are cracking the best. If they're cracking the front court and taking advantage of the lack of guys there, we might see a little bit of Will Barton. But if it is going to end up being a big battle, I think that we'll see some Thomas Robinson in there too.
Very good.
So that's, it's like I said, such a toss-up. But you know you're going to see CJ McCollum. We both agree on CJ McCollum at that 8th spot.
Got to see what he can do.
And that's the thing, if it goes that deep, because we're talking about 8, 9, and 10 here in the rotation. And who knows? If the Trailblazers are very easily able to go in and kind of break apart this kind of hodgepodge that the Thunder are playing with tonight, then you're going to see a lot more. But Stotz, and Stotz means business this year, more than any year. Stotz means business this year, and you are not going to see him fiddle fart around with a lineup that's not going to win games.
That's right.
Plain and simple. It's not a learning year anymore. It's not a learning year. It's an execution year to make things happen.
Yes.
You guys, I can't believe it's already been an hour.
Wow.
Holy moly.
Wow.
You guys are absolutely awesome. I hope that you are enjoying hanging out on this show. And you guys, we're going to be back here every game day during the week, which means that we will be here Friday at noon on your lunch break. The polls on this page are going to change out every day. We want to take your questions, and we want to talk about and shoot the breeze about the Blazers and what you guys want to talk about. So if you have anything come up, tweet either one of us. Use the hashtag TBCourtReport. Or come on over to the chat and let us know you guys what you want to chat about, because this show is all about you guys, all about the interactive. If you want us to have guests on the show, who do you want us to get? And if you say a player, I know, obviously, we'll do what we can, but that's probably not going to happen. But we're going to give away stuff this year. We're going to do all kinds of good stuff.
I'm looking forward to talking to them.
Me too. This was fun. This was fun. It's the early TBTV days. You guys, you spoke. We gave you the keys. So now it's time for you guys to drive this TBTV car straight to victory, whatever it is that you want. Okay. Game night reminder tonight, 7:30 on KGW locally. Mike and Mike will have the call, ESPN nationally. And of course, Wheels and Tone, Fox Sports Radio 620 or 103.3 on the FM band. Sarah Hecht, Orlando Williams. We will see you guys on the Court Report on Friday at noon when we take on the Kings that evening. See you guys later. Go Trailblazers. Let's get a victory.
Let's go get it.